A very good morning, everybody. I am CS Kajal Handewag from Nyandeep Academy, and today we will be talking about the Hindu analysis dated 24th October 2024. So let's start. We are going to be covering 4 important news today. Today's newspaper, if I talk about, is very much politically based, but these topics that we filtered for y'all exclusively are the most important topic for the day. Number one, we will be talking about our Prime Minister, Mr. Modi, then China's representative, as well as this includes even things about the Russian Putin. So we will be talking about how these people are trying to improve their relations, which is very important from mains point of view. Next, we will be talking about a topic that will be covered in your polity, that is state list, union list, concurrent list. There is a news regarding this. Uske baad we will be talking about cyber fraud. Again, this is important. And last, we will be talking about green energy goals. This is important from current affairs point of view because this goal, not only India, but the entire world is trying to work towards this. Okay. Now, the first thing that we are going to be talking about is Modi and Xing hail border pact, seek to mend ties. Okay. Now, there are people who pronounce his names differently. There are n number of ways in which we can take his name, but for now we will address him as Xing. Okay. So yes, right now I'm sure we have already spoken about this last week about BRICS and SCO summits. So please, if you all haven't seen those videos, you all can see it about the Hindu analysis on our same page, and it is covered in the previous week's scenario. So this is a continuation to that particular topic. So now the whole summit has been going on, and there is a bilateral meeting that is taking place. Bilateral matlab between two parties. So that is, we know our relations are not very great with China. So we know we need more and more diplomacy. We need more and more bilateral talks and meetings. So citing that, our Prime Minister, that is Mr. Modi, and the Chinese president, they met one-on-one and they said now it is high time we need to take out a solution. We need to solve this long pending issue of line of actual control that is being disrespected time and again. So this is what the main topic of focus was. Also, Mr. Modi said that we need to maintain peace and stability on our particular borders because we are border sharing. So we need to maintain peace, and that is the main priority for both of us. So if we maintain peace in our own regions, then we can walk towards development. Okay, this is what he said. Also, there was a one-on-one standoff, guys, that took place in 2020, which both the parties preferred to not talk about it. The Chinese troops and the Indian army, they had come face to face. We will see that in a few slides that what exactly had happened. But yes, this has been happening repetitively. We do come across news channels telling us that China has come into Arunachal Pradesh. China is entering a few kilometers ahead here. Okay, so we do come across such news. But of course, they said that now it's high time we should resolve this. Also, the BRICS summit is going on right now. Very important part, BRICS summit. Everything that goes on in the BRICS summit, everything that is related to the BRICS summit, you all must be aware of it. So during this BRICS summit that is going on in Kazan, the leaders decided now let's start a dialogue between the foreign ministers as well as the other officials like the China foreign minister, Indian foreign minister, China officials, Indian officials. They'll meet each other and they'll try to again rebuild good relations between India and China. We've been trying this since a long time and we are still going to not give up and keep taking efforts. Also, Mr. Modi and the Chinese president, they met for formal talks at Mamallapuram and the BRICS summit in Brasilia in 2019. That was the last time they had met. Also, they had certain unofficial interactions in the G20 summit that happened recently. Okay. Also, if I talk about 2023 BRICS summit, they did meet, but not the way they've met this time. This time, the bilateral meeting has been very official, organized, and even the agenda has come forward to public. Okay. So this was an important meeting, and very much responsible for this meeting is Mr. Putin, because he was the one who encouraged both the parties that come on the front foot and talk to each other. Because of late we have been seeing Russia and China, they've become very good friends, okay? And Russia and India, we have an old bond. We've always been good friends. And China and India, we are not very good. So we have one common friend, that is Russia. Now, Russia is trying to mend relations between China and India so that Russia becomes more powerful, because China also supports them, India also supports them. So they obviously, if you compare Russia to NATO countries, it wants its position to be more empowered. So it has its own reason also. And of course, for the regional peace and stability, it encouraged China and India to come forward and talk to each other. And this meeting very much happened because of him. There was even a joke that was circulating yesterday. That moment is going viral a lot. That Mr. Putin, during the summit, Mr. Putin said something in Russian, and he just laughed and he just smiled. And our Prime Minister, Narendra Modi ji, even he was just blank. Why is he smiling and, not understanding? So there's a translator sitting in the middle. He translates the messages and then he will convey it to Mr. Modi in his language. So the translator converted it into Hindi, and the message was कि मिस्टर पुटिन सेड, हमारा रिलेशन इतना अच्छा है कि मुझे नहीं लगा हमें ट्रांसलेटर की जरूरत पड़ेगी. एंड देन बोथ ऑफ देम लाफ, दे हैड अ बिग लाफ ओवर इट. सो दिस इज हाउ द डीप रिलेशंस आवर कंट्री शेयर्स विथ रशिया. ओके, सो यस, मूविंग ऑन. नाउ again, it is important that we should do more of communication, like China and us especially. So Mr. Misri, who is our foreign secretary, said that there was a disengagement process in 2022. Like, they went back, we came back, okay, we did not involve, the troops did not get involved with each other. Both the Indian and Chinese officials as well, they have been trying to find a solution since a long time in the areas of Depsang and Demchok. We are going to talk about it, what is Depsang and Demchok, okay. Also, he said that the next future steps for this would be more of bilateral official meetings on various fronts, on various issues. He also said that he will be visiting China for the SCO Heads of State Summit in 2025. Also, our Prime Minister said that we are looking forward that in 2025, the presidency or the host will be China, and we want China to do it. We want them to host the whole and become the presidency for the particular year 2025, and we are looking forward to it. So of course he was happy when he was saying something like this. Okay, now next, this is the map. If you all see, okay, we've always had a problem on the eastern front with China. If you see our Indian map also, on the eastern side we do share borders with China, okay. So we've had issues in 3 regions. The first region, if I talk about, is Himachal. We have had issues here. Next is very much the bigger issues we have is at the Ladakh part, that is Demchok, then the Spangur Gap, and of course Arunachal. It's always been a bone of contention. China doesn't consider Arunachal Pradesh as a part of Indian territory. They call it South Tibet, okay. So Arunachal is also a major issue. Isme also there are places in Dibang Valley which have been very much controversial between China and Indian Army troops, okay. So yes, these are the red line. You all can see, okay, this is the line that has been a bone of contention between India and China. As you can see, this is the border line. This is India. This entire part is India, and this is China. So obviously, when we are sharing geographical borders and there is no hard and core wall that is separating the two countries, such border issues are bound to take place. Okay. Next. Now, the Chinese People Liberation Army, okay, they have their troops along this line, that is the LOC, line of actual control, and they transgrendered the border, matlab they crossed the border in 2020. When they crossed the border, obviously the Indian Army also had to go to protect the particular border. Now, line of control, LAC, it separates India and China. This is like a line. It's a border, okay? So when China comes beyond this line, obviously the Indian army has to come to stop them. That is what happened in 2020. So now LAC, it is mainly divided in 3 sectors. The eastern sector, I just showed you all in the map, that is mainly the Arunachal Pradesh part, after which, and Sikkim also it includes the middle sector, that includes Himachal Pradesh part and Uttarakhand, and the western sector that includes the Upperwala Ladakh, okay? Once again, please see this. This center, Ladakh and Arunachal. Eastern center, this is the central center, this part, and Ladakh, this one is the western part. This is the central part, Himachal, and this one is the eastern one, the Arunachal Pradesh part. If we talk about Arunachal Pradesh specifically, these are the stuffs that have been covered here, okay? Yes, now. Also, if I talk about Uttarakhand, guys, जैसे मैंने बोला था कि Uttarakhand and Himachal Pradesh, these form a part of the central sector. Like LAC is divided into 3, western, center and eastern. So these 2 parts are nothing but the central wale part. So Himachal Pradesh is covered here and Uttarakhand is covered here. Once again, please see this map so that you all get a better clarity of from where LAC goes. And right across the extreme east is the Arunachal Pradesh, which is the maximum issues, the reason for the maximum issues happening between India and China. Okay. Now, India considers LAC that it is 3488 kilometers long, whereas if we talk about the Chinese, they consider it is only 2000 kilometers. You all are considering the extra place. They do not consider that as LAC. And it says, as I have specified, that entire Arunachal Pradesh, it does not belong to the Indian territory and it belongs to South Tibet. That is what they say. Now let's talk about what happens in Depsang and Demchok. Why are there issues in Depsang and Demchok? Now if we talk about the Depsang plains, now where are these plains located? Now first of all, they are very important from military or army point of view, because strategically that place, if you have access to those plains, it puts you in a very powerful position strategically, army wise, okay? Yes, now why is it so strategically important? Because it is close to Daulat Beg Oldie. Okay, again, that area is very important from military point of view. Now, these issues began in 2013 when China carried an 18-kilometer incursion in the area. Matlab kya? It came 18 kilometer forward. They were behind, but they came 18 kilometer forward to that area. And despite the 2 countries agreeing ki China also said we will go back, India also said we will go back, they agreed, but the troops did not vacate the area completely. Even today, we do see certain invasions, we do see certain troops coming and going across this area. So this is the issue that has been happening in Depsang. Okay, why? Because it is strategically important, located to a place that is very important from military perspective, that is Daulat Beg. It keeps us in a superior position. So both the countries want this, and the Chinese, jo bhi line decide hua tha, they crossed 18 kilometers ahead of it. Now we will talk about the second issue, that is Demchok issue. It is part of Ladakh, okay? Yeah, the problem is mainly the CNN junction. Now there are many times when the Chinese army has stopped the Indian people, the Indian grazers. They are walking with their animals, the animals are grazing. So the Chinese army has even stopped the Indian grazers from grazing in that particular area. Now, obviously in India, if somebody tries to stop us, that to a foreign army, what are they trying to say? That this place belongs to them, right? And the Indian grazers they will feel so insecure that this is our country and how can this happen in our country? This is my land. And why is the Chinese army stopping us from walking on our land? This is what exactly was happening again and again at the CNN junction. Okay. Also, but according to us, there is a line of LAC and this junction, we have all the rights to go there. Also, India has rejected this whole LAC concept in 1959 and 62 when it was suggested from China. This idea mainly came from China. So, India did reject it initially because they said it is too vague, it is too confusing, it does not give a definite idea, and also because China in their mind think that Arunachal Pradesh is ours, the parts of eastern Ladakh belong to them, the parts of Uttarakhand, Himachal, they have certain control over them. So when China thinks certain things like this, so we obviously will not be okay with LAC. So yes, but because we need a permanent solution on this, our military, their military, we shouldn't lose lives and we shouldn't keep fighting and getting into this again and again. That is why this time both the leaders, their president, our prime minister, are mainly going to be talking about these concepts. Okay, let's move on. Next, we will be, yes, and in this news, there is a part of BRICS and SCO, which we have already discussed in details. We've spoken about what is happening in BRICS, what exactly BRICS is, what is happening in SCO, what exactly SCO is. We've spoken about both these cooperations in the Hindu analysis of last week. Okay, so please, if you want to just go and revise it, go and watch it so you all can get a revision done, because both these cooperations organizations are very, very important. Okay. Next news for the day is Supreme Court upholds state legislature's right to regulate industrial alcohol as an intoxicant. Now, first we'll talk about the news. There was a constitutional bench of 9 people. So by a majority judgment that 8 people voted in favor, 1 voted against. Okay. So obviously the favor wala decision was done. So they said that the state has the right to regulate the industrial alcohol. Now there are alcohol. Now there is a word known as intoxicant. Okay. Intoxicating liquor. Intoxicating liquor includes the alcohol that is being used in industries. This is what the Supreme Court says. And according to Constitution, the state has these rights as per entry 8. Multiple states, they have challenged the center's position because the center is saying that no, I have the rights as per entry 52. Okay, of the union list. Now, what are these entries and what are these whole lists? We are going to see in the next slide. But the center is saying that I have the power and I will decide rules for intoxicating liquor. But state is not agreeing to that. Now, what exactly the Supreme Court said? Supreme Court said that the entry 8, which gives authority to the state, okay, for regulating everything related to consumption liquor. The parliament cannot just occupy it by giving bahana of entry 52. They cannot use this power. Okay, now what is this power? We are going to discuss ahead. They cannot use this and they cannot take control of an entire industry. This is what exactly Justice Chandrachud said. Okay, Chief Justice Chandrachud. Now, what is exactly a union list, state list, and what are these entries all discussed about? Okay, so I hope we all understood the news articles. Now we will be talking about the provisions. Okay. Now, as per the provisions, the 7th schedule of Indian Constitution, they say that the powers of India have been divided. First is the union list, next is the state list, and third is a concurrent list. So union list, naam mein hi likha hai, all the decisions are going to be taken by the center. State list, all the decisions are going to be taken by the state. And concurrent list, all the decisions have been taken by union and state. But if the decisions are separate, if the union says yes and state says no for a particular thing, whatever decision the center has taken will prevail. Okay, so this is what the concurrent list says. Now, all these details have been given in the 7th schedule of our Indian Constitution. Total number of schedules kitne hai? We have 12. Now, this bifurcation is given in 7 schedules. So, if we talk about the union list subjects. Yes, so if we talk about the union list subject, the first topic that the union list covers is defense. Next is army. After that, we have international relations. We have ports, railways, highways, communications. All these topics are covered by nobody but the union list. The union exclusively has the rights to cover all of them. Okay. Also, if we talk about the subjects that have been mentioned here, these are the important ones. There are few more on which the union has exclusive rights to decide on that. The state cannot interfere in this. The state cannot take any decisions regarding that. Next, these are the stateless subject. Let it be police, let it be how to maintain discipline and public order, the health, hospitals, betting, gambling. So, ये सब decisions the state list will take. The state legislative assembly or the state not the constitution, but we can say the state authorities will decide on this. After that, there is a concurrent list which the center plus state milke they will decide. But if there is difference of opinion, the center ka opinion will prevail. They will decide about education, forests, the trade union rules, marriage, adoption, succession. All these rules all these subjects are present in the concurrent list. Okay, so these are your 3 lists. Now, there are certain subjects in the state list. Now, what is the rule? जो subjects state list में है, उस पे decision state will take. This is the rule, okay? But there are certain situations that the parliament, that is the center, they say ki no, we will decide on this particular point. They will of course give a reason and they say ki we will talk about this, we will decide about this. Now, when does this gets approved? When Rajya Sabha passes a resolution, because we believe that they represent the state pretty well. Also, when there is a national emergency, that time we don't need anybody's permission. The parliament can directly take a decision on the state matter. And when 2 or more states, they themselves are coming to union and they are saying, please legislate, please make a decision on the matter that has been given in the state list. Okay. So, when are the situations? When the union makes a decision on the subjects mentioned in the state list. National emergency, when the states themselves give a resolution, and when Rajya Sabha passes a resolution. Okay. Moving on. Cyber fraud losses could amount to 0.7% of GDP, projects ministry studies. Cyber fraud has been growing a lot and there are many people who have been victims of cyber fraud. I would also, of course, suggest you all to be very careful and stay away from all these signs of cyber fraud. Especially it keeps happening on Telegram. Telegram has become the hub. So people with some or the other reason will ask for money. Maybe they'll give any reason which we think is very convincing, and this is how cyber frauds has been happening. There is an economic data release recently that in India, if we talk about the cyber fraud, every day people have been earning crores by doing cyber fraud. So the money that which we earn by doing hard work, we shouldn't let it go like this. Okay, so please be careful because this is going to be the next big thing that people will be talking about. Okay, so yes, cyber fraud, Indians are expected that they will be losing 1.2 lakh CR. Can you imagine the amount? And this is the next year, this is just 1 year ka amount, okay, because to cyber frauds. And who has predicted this? Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center. This is a nodal agency, we'll be talking about this. But they have predicted this. They say that there are certain fake bank accounts, okay, nakli bank accounts. This is one of the significant contributors. Also, there are certain bank accounts that have been inactive. Okay, they've just opened and they are inactive since a long time. So cyber frauds are very easily happened through them. They scam it and this could potentially siphon off 0.7% of GDP. This is what our IFOC is saying. Now siphon off matlab they can take it from one place to another. Our GDP is coming into the country, right? It is being done for the benefit of the country. But this money can be taken and siphoned off, gone somewhere else, that is to the fraudsters, the ones who are doing this fraud. Now, majority money is been taken out of country and this hub is mainly coming from Chinese linked entities. Also, there are domestically run scams too, like within India also, but mostly our money is going out of India only. and the money has been withdrawn from ATM after being transferred from one bank account to another So bank accounts, it keeps on transferring, and then finally there's an ATM, wahan se it gets withdrawn. Okay. Now if we talk about Citizen Financial Cyber Reporting and Management System, it has identified 18 hotspots, ATM hotspots from across the country, from where money was fraudulently and frequently being withdrawn. So these have been identified. Now, the government also has identified some scam compounds. Now, what are scam compounds? Jahan se scams frequently keep happening. Okay, and where is this? In Southeast Asian countries such as Cambodia, Myanmar, Laos. Now, there are these fake call centers. They call us from Indian numbers and Indian mobile phone, not mobile phones, but numbers. And we feel that there is someone who is calling us from a domestic place itself, and then they'll either ask for money, they'll just make a fool out of people, and this is how they scam us. Now these major people are coming from China, Cambodia, Myanmar and Laos. These are the scam compounds. Okay, also the bank officials have given an alert that if you see any bank account which has, normal less money and suddenly there is a huge amount of money coming in, or if you see a person who's salaried and suddenly there is a huge amount of money coming in that account, so this is a doubtful transaction and this needs to be reported ASAP. This also warning has been given. Because what happens is the money is converted into crypto and then it is transferred. Now once the money is converted into crypto, nothing can be done. We cannot track it back or trace it back. Tracing becomes almost impossible, extremely difficult. That's why before the tracing is done, before the fraudsters reach that level, it's better if the banks and the general public stay very aware of such people. Okay. Now, what is this whole center? It is established under Ministry of Home Affairs and it is located at New Delhi. It is the nodal main agency that deals with cybercrime in country. It brings together the intellectual people, the industry, the local public, the government, that come together and let's prevent, let's detect, let's investigate this whole cybercrime issues. Okay. Now, what are the components? Now, this is important. It has the TAU, National Cybercrime Threat Analysis, for reporting threats. Okay, if you want to report threat of a particular cybercrime, we can contact the TAU. Then we have the NCRP, that is National Cybercrime Reporting Portal. It is an online portal which is available 24/7. So if we can't physically go somewhere, we can just report it online. Now we have NCTC, that is the training center. Here government officials are given training of how to deal with cybercrime. Okay, next we have the Innovation Center. This is done to carry out research of how in various ways, various tools we can prevent cybercrimes. Next we have the Platform for Joint Cybercrime Coordination Team. Here the various teams of states, union territories, they share data with each other, the police, everybody who's involved here, the general public even, the agencies, the intelligence agencies, we can all share data with each other. So when we all have some common data available with us, there is a better coordination. Okay. Next is cybercrime ecosystem management. This is to create awareness amongst the public to avoid such crimes. Then we have the investigation ecosystem. This is to help for the forensics investigation, the in-detailed scientific ones. And another important part we have is Citizen Financial Cyber Fraud Reporting and Management. Now this system is done mainly for financial frauds. If anything happens relating to finance and the money has been taken off, so these are the first ones that will come up and deal with it. Okay, now this is done so that we prevent the funds that from going from normal genuine public funds getting converted into the cybercrime for fraud funds. So this is done to avoid that. And this is literally done on a real-time basis. Matlab, if we give a complaint right now, they'll immediately try tracking it and using the tools. They'll immediately, on the same spot, they'll try finding a solution. Okay, this is what is done. And the last news for the day is green energy goal, wind players fret over land issues. Now, the Union Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, they are saying that India ने एक target रखा था of creating 500 gigawatt in renewable energy, which included 100 gigawatt of wind energy by the year 2013, and we are going to surpass that. We have already crossed 200 gigawatt in renewable energy. Target is 500, we've already crossed 200, and now we have a capacity of 210 gigawatt, okay, right now. Also, with the installation of pipeline, almost 160 and 100 are being added, and we are definitely going to surpass this target of 500 का total renewable energy का goal that we've set for us. Also, India is the 4th largest when it comes to the wind energy. Also, last year we installed only 2.8. This year we are adding almost 5 gigawatts. To meet the goals, every year we need annually 10 ka average, okay? Because that is 100 gigawatt of wind energy, we have kept it as a goal. So annually we need to add on at least 10. But right now, land issue is one of the major things, that major challenge that we are facing. Also, in case of solar energy, also they are facing land issues. But the government is thinking, like in the case of solar energy, they had solar parks. They have called for coordination between the center and states. So the same thing is being done in wind projects as well. Now they will coordinate for the lands where we can have windmills, where we can convert the wind energy and utilize it on day-to-day basis. Okay, all this has been gonna be done because of the land issues that we are facing right now. Okay, now let's see some facts. India's installed renewable energy capacity has increased 396% in the last 8.5 years, and today it is more than 207.76 gigawatt, which is a lot. It is about 46% of country's total capacity. Also, we have an enhanced target set, okay? We, as I specifically mentioned, 500 gigawatt by the year 2030. It is right now the world's largest plan in case of non-fossil, the eco-friendly energy, or the wind energy, solar energy, renewable energy. In this case, it is the world's largest expansion plan, and this we have pledged a Panchamrit, under which we've decided, let's just try being dependent on the non-renewable sources. So I think 2 weeks back we spoke about solar energy, that why is the government trying to promote solar energy so much? This is one of the reasons. Okay, now government has given certain commitments that the total projected carbon emission by 1 billion tons by 2030, they will reduce the carbon emission and it will be less than 45%, and to achieve a net zero by the year 2070, we are not emitting any carbon. This is what their pledges, their targets are. Also, they have spoken about solar cities and parks. They have set up 57 such solar parks across the nations, and their capacity is 39.28 gigawatts already. The government is trying to give this entire thing a push. Also, there is a green hydrogen mission. Here the government has launched this mission because it wants to produce 5 million metric ton MMT green hydrogen every year. Also, it has a target of by 2030, this is the hydrogen capacity, we will increase it by 125 gigawatt. Now, if we talk about wind energy, offshore wind power, we want by 2022, we have a capacity of 5, and by 2030, now abhi 2022 ka to we can't see, now we have to see the target of 2030. So by 2030, we'll have to at least achieve 30 gigawatt ka capacity. They have promised all this, okay? The next is wind and solar hybrid. In 2018, there was a hybrid plan of promoting solar as well as wind energy, because India is a country which has both of them, and not only create such wind energy but also utilize it for reasons, create such infrastructure, create such areas, allocate such lands, this energy can be utilized in day-to-day life. Okay. Next is Atmanirbhar Bharat. Again, this was mainly done for the solar panels. Then next is FDI, that is foreign direct investments, is promoted under automatic route, so that people, the foreign money can also come in, people can come and invest in the renewable energy generation. Because we need more money in this, we need more investors in this. This is going to be the best for us if foreigners also want to do this business. Okay. Yes, so that's it for today. These were the news articles that we covered for today. They were the important ones. Tomorrow also we will be talking about a comprehensive news analysis of tomorrow's newspaper. Okay. Thank you so much.